Hey everyone, it's week 5 of the NFL. I'm Wade from NFL in London and DraftKings. How is your team doing? Is your team sucking like mine? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe you're one of these teams. It's actually surprising. We're going to be talking about Houston versus the Vikings. Joined by Edo Delamonte, Ryan Cull, and Will Gavin. Guys, who would have predicted start of season? Houston 3-1, Minnesota 4-0. Minnesota's favored in this game by 6. Is there anyone who can stop Minnesota right now? They're not playing flashy, but they're playing consistent, safe. Bradford's converting third downs. They're doing really third down efficiency, probably some of the best in the NFL. Ryan, what are you seeing in this game?
Well, I see a few things. Number one, that Vikings defense is a beast, okay? They've been shutting down everybody, and it's getting more impressive with each week. With Houston, I don't really believe Houston's as good as their record. I think 3-1, they're not as good. I don't think Brock Osweiler is worth $17 million. I think he's playing like a guy just starting to learn how to play. He's not blowing you away. Lamar Miller's good. Again, without J.J. Watt, the Texans, the only benefit they have is they're in the worst division in football, and I think that's what makes their record seem a little bit better. But I love the Vikings. I love that defense. It's scary. I kind of wish, everyone kind of wishes you had the Vikings defense. They're just fun to watch. They're just all at the quarterback. And the thing is, the quarterbacks they've shut down have been, it's not like they're shutting down chumps. They've shut down, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Manning, and Cam Newton in the last 3 weeks. Like, you're not asking, and they have shut them down. So to me, the Vikings, I don't think the Texans could. I think Texans have a good defense, but they're going to get destroyed. And I'm loving the way Bradford's playing. He's just playing smart. He's not going to blow you away, but him and Kyle Rudolph have a real connection. I think that's going to be the scary output.
He's not really chucking the ball, but I mean, Houston does have some gaps there, which Stephon Diggs could find some room in the sort of. Edo, how do you find this matchup as well?
Yeah, I do see Minnesota having quite an advantage. What a job Leslie Frazier has done, by the way, in these last few years. He's never really had the ideal team to work with. He came in and had Peterson be suspended. He had to, groom a new quarterback. Then the new quarterback goes down at the start of this season. And it's quite surprising that it took so long for somebody to give, not Leslie Frazier,
Mike Zimmer,
yeah. I was just thinking, I'm pretty sure he got sacked 2 years ago.
Incidentally, Leslie Frazier believed in Christian Ponder. Oh dear. But so did
Took them to the playoffs. Yeah. Christian Ponder played really well that season.
He was amazing.
No, honestly, if you look at their 7 of their 10 wins, Peterson had 2,000 yards, but Christian Ponder played really well. Sorry, that's a completely off point. Edit all of that out. Carry on.
Yeah, let's talk about that later, actually. I'm interested. No, but considering that he spent so long, was it at Cincinnati as defensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden he goes to Minnesota and he's so good. There's a thing about Minnesota as well. They do seem to be giving McKinnon the ball more. There's not been so much of a split between him and Asiata, which I think is really good. And yeah,
as he had sort of that fat bastard at the end of that, you just sort of give it to him at the end. Here you go, give it to him.
The absolute definition of a vulture.
Yeah.
And he's not even been good
short
enough
yardage, goal line.
Yeah.
Jerome Bettis, when you get three carries, 4 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's like one of those guys.
And you look at it, when you actually look at like Houston, when you talk about how good they are and you talk defense, you look at the running game, they've been trampled by, Blunt, DeMarco Murray, and you sort of look and go, hey, McKinnon, he's got some speed. This could be a good week for him that Minnesota could just run right through them.
They run that 3-4 front, and they look to get all of their pressure from that front 3, and both of their starting defensive ends are out for the entire season, and one of them happens to be a guy called J.J. Watt. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No,
they may as well rename Defensive Player of the Year the J.J. Watt Award for like the next 10 years or so, because he might even win it this year, and he's only played 3 games.
Like they said when Peyton Manning didn't play that year, he should have won the MVP because Indianapolis went 1-15.
Yeah.
Got themselves some Andrew Luck. But I just think the Texans, they can run the ball. I've been impressed with Lamar Miller, but they've had to rely on Will Fuller with that punt return last week. They've had to rely on a lot of blown coverages against the Titans. That's how they've beaten teams, is kind of a little bit through luck. And they're running into a defense this week that we've got to start talking about in the same sentence as the Seahawks, the Broncos. They're right up there. They're brilliantly coached. And this team are looking like, from the NFC, the strongest team at the moment.
Okay, so let's talk predictions, and Will, we'll start with you. What's your prediction in this game? How do you see it going? What's the score?
I don't think it's going to be high scoring, but I think the Vikes will have their way with it. I think it's going to be 24-10.
Ryan?
It's very close. I was going to say 24-14. Again, I don't think Brock Osweiler. If Aaron Rodgers and Eli Manning and Cam Newton can put up 20 on the Vikings, I do not think Brock Osweiler will.
The Vegas line is 40. I'm going slightly under that. 24-13 Minnesota. And that could easily be a 12 because, I'm not so sure Houston have a touchdown in them.
I'm looking for a big over on this one, actually. I'm going Minnesota 30, Houston 17, and Brock Osweiler to be knocked into the hospital. That Minnesota defense is scary. You guys can watch it with us. Come down to the Hippodrome Casino in Leicester Square in London. We're all going to be there watching it. Hopefully they'll all be there. And also play along in our contest. Go to www.draftkings.co.uk/hippo. Play us in our Hippo League this week. We give prizes away, including this week. The prizes are going to be 2 tickets to LA versus New York at Twickenham Stadium. Hey, come see us every Sunday, Hippodrome Casino. See you then.